What's up, everybody? It's your girl Tendai, the hair whisperer, and we are back with another exciting edition of Texture Talk Live. Texture Talk with the pros. We are doing a lot of things, especially through COVID-19. But I tell you what, while it's really important for us to talk about our hair and our health, it's also important to talk about our mental health and how we are changing. Everybody's changing during this time. So it's really important that we discuss all of these different things because some people change very easily. Some people are not very good with change. Some people are just not good with adapting to new situations. They want to hold on to the way things were. But, we have to make sure that we are pivoting and providing. What I want to do is provide as many resources as I can to help you guys to not only look good, but feel good and also have a good working mindset as we move forward through all of this. So today, this Texture Talk is dedicated to businesses that have had to pivot in this time period during COVID-19. But what I want you guys to do before we jump into that, I want you guys to, first of all, get your water, because we got to have our water. I got Core water today. Shout out to Core. I need an endorsement. That's another thing, pivoting. I need y'all to sponsor your kid on this show. But anyway, so Core water, get your water, whatever kind that is. And remember, we always say my natural is my natural. What that means is that your DNA produces what it produces, and it's all good. Nothing wrong with your DNA at all. I see we got some people jumping on the live now. We got Erica B. She says, my natural is my natural from St. Louis, Missouri. Make sure you guys type in my natural is my natural and what city and state you're tuning in from. Also, don't forget to share this video. Share the video. You don't want to keep all this good information to yourself. Share this video. I got my glasses on today, y'all, because I ain't trying to be playing around, fiddling around with stuff. You got to embrace where you are. And this is where I am. I need glasses. Bad. I want some cute ones, though. These are all right. But anywho, so what y'all been up to? I got my water. I'm going to count of three. I'm going to pour this up. Why do I have such a big top on here? Is it supposed to be a cup? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to drink some of my water on a count of three. And I want y'all to do the same, okay? 1, 2, 3. I see y'all down there. Shout out to everybody that's turning their water up, because you got to quench your throat and keep everything nice and hydrated. Just like you got to keep your hair hydrated. You got to do those same things for your body on the inside. So what y'all been up to these has it been 2 months? It's been 2 months. We have been sitting still. But you know what? I'm okay with sitting still. I kind of feel like I needed to sit still for a little while. I think a lot of us needed to sit still for a little while. We're doing that right now. So as we continue to go on this live, I just want to make sure that you guys are understand that you're going to be able to participate in this live. If you have any questions for our guests, any comments for our guests, feel free to join in, type in your comments, your questions on the side, and we're going to have a wonderful interchange with each other tonight. Okay, I have some amazing guests on my show tonight. One of them happens to be a hairstylist like myself, and she is from St. Louis, Missouri. The thing is that I've run into a lot of different hairstylists, and we share a common thread that we care deeply about people more than we do about ourselves sometimes, but we care deeply about people, and we want to make sure that we are able to provide resources for you all. So in the theme of pivoting and making sure we're doing what we need to do for ourselves and for others, I want to bring on a special guest. Her name is Fiva Daniels, and she is from St. Louis, Missouri. A wonderful hairstylist. You see, she's fixing her hair right now. Hey, Miss Fiva, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you so much for coming on Texture Talk Live. First of all, you got your water.
I definitely have my H2O.
That's what I mean. You got ice water too. That glass look good. It looks super refreshing. Well, before we get started, make sure you I want you to say my natural is my natural.
My natural is my natural.
Yes, it is, all day and every day. So, Fiva, let's get into a little bit about who you are and what you do. First of all, tell the people how long you have been a hairstylist.
Oh, wow. I've been a hairstylist for over 25 years. Not licensed. I started styling her. I started doing her, messing with her, playing with her when I was like 8 years old.
Yep.
That's been 30 years now, right? And I was one of those children who I kept getting in trouble because I would take my mama curling irons and I would do the Patti LaBelle hairstyle, the wild little spikes on my hair. And one day she came in and she was like, "What did you do to your hair?" And she was scolding me. And then she turned around and say, "But that looked good though, you know." So I've been really into it for a very, very long time. I've
Yeah.
been licensed cosmetologist for over 11 years now.
Mm. That's
No,
all,
10,
it all counts.
hold on. It's been 11 years. Yes.
That's awesome. And what is the name of your salon?
Well, I have twofold. I'm coming from Vive La Sure, and now we are Hair Relics. So
Okay.
we're rebranding, resetting, and we'll get into that later.
Perfect. We definitely gonna get into that. And let's just kind of talk about what's taking place right now. I do know that you had a video that went viral recently,
Yes, I
and
did.
we definitely gonna talk about that video. But let's just discuss really quickly what it's been like for you um, in this COVID during this COVID-19 thing.
Well, two things. I was an adult daycare owner, a co-owner. I had a business partner, and then the beauty salon. COVID-19 did a real shift in my life because when the beauty salons had to close down, of course, we had to all comply. And then
Right.
adult daycares was still able to be open, but I have a compromised immune system, so I had to um, go on, what do you call it, quarantine. But then some things had taken place during the quarantine, and I end up selling my shares of the daycare back. So I actually had to close my beauty salon because of COVID-19, like everyone else did. But in the middle of that, I had to permanently close my beauty salon. So I went in COVID-19 having two businesses, and I came out, with both of them, no longer in my possession. And so COVID-19 really kind of swept through and did a number on me business wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, you, first of all, let's just say you're not alone in this, but I really commend you for being bold and brave enough to share your story because there are so many people that are suffering silently. And what you're doing by coming on here and just sharing with people in general about what you have going on right now in this very difficult time, it shows a whole lot. It shows them, number one, that you can still get through it. Sometimes you have to talk your way through it. You got to pray your way through it. You got to cry your way through it, but you can get through it. Okay. And there's power in numbers. And together we can definitely make some things happen. So, I just want to commend you on that, first of all,
Thank
for
you.
being open about where you are right now. So let me ask you this. Is this your first salon closing?
No, this is number three. And so this, for me, it was like, okay, emotion, right? And not emotion, but emotion, meaning we're still moving. And
Mhm.
so because I have had other salons in the past, like my first salon, I wasn't even a licensed hairstylist, but I
Right.
had a salon and I had to go through that. And then my second salon, I had to close, and that was some time ago. And so
Mhm.
now that we're closing, and this time it's not my fault, I'm like, for one, I wanted to soak and be kind of sad about it. And then I was feeling sensations of humility, like I was humiliated. But then I had to realize you be humiliated when you've done something wrong. Like we can admit when we made a foul up, right? Even if we don't want to, we know when it's our issue. But I'm dealing with someone who this now has to become a legal battle and a legal issue. So
Mhm.
this really isn't nothing that was of my doing, and I'm so grateful that I came up under that because now I get to go into a whole nother realm and just beast it out like I always do. So,
Right.
answer to your question, no, this isn't my first salon closing.
Awesome. Well, awesome that you understand how to regroup and redirect it and keep on moving forward. I like the way you said it's a emotion. It's
Yeah.
emotion, not emotion. So basically, I'm in motion all the time. Shout out to Cynthia Jackson. She says, "My natural is my natural." Tuning in from Detroit, Michigan. What's up, Michigan? Glad you're here. And please share this video. Fiva, you know what? I'm so thankful that you've been sharing. But what I want to do is I want to bring on another hairstylist, local hairstylist here in St. Louis. And she is another phenomenal businesswoman who has literally had to pivot at this time in business as well. And we're calling it a pivot because we know it's never a stop. It's always in motion, like you said. So, it's just another aspect to flex yourself the way you are. Well, I'm gonna bring our next person on, this beautiful lady. Her name is Whitney, the hair addict. I got that right this time, didn't I? That's Whitney Dukes. Let me unmute you,
Hey,
Whitney.
Whitney.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. I am
Good.
exhausted.
You're exhausted.
I am. I just cleaned the place out. So,
How do you feel?
whew.
You literally just did it today.
I walked in my house maybe 8 minutes ago.
Right.
Wow. And you got your makeup on and hair did just like that.
I had to be ready for the day, honey. I had
That's
to be
right. We
ready.
got some more people tuning in. We got My Natural is My Natural, Leah Price. She's straight out of Arizona. We've got My Natural is My Natural, Tawanda Tinsley. That's my big sister. She's tuning in.
Hello.
Yes. So we've got a lot of people tuning in. Be sure to share this video, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Whitney, just like we talked to Fiva just a minute ago, I
Hmm.
want to discuss with you as well. How's this transition been for you? How are you feeling right now?
It went from one extreme to the next. Um, we weren't expecting anything like this to happen, nor were we expecting for it to be this long. And
Mhm.
I think that's what caught a lot of us by, surprise in this industry period, because I think we were kind of in the moment of, okay, let's, clean up, let's be careful, let's, be cautious, um, of just the virus itself.
Mhm.
And then let's get out of the salon, and then boom, hey, no, this is something that we're expecting for a couple of weeks to God knows when.
Right.
So it, like I said, it went from one extreme to the next for me, because not only did I, have to close down my salon and stop working, but I had to literally close down my salon and relocate, due to, not being able to survive it, not making the money and living normal life outside of business.
Mhm.
So like that's why I stress, like, it literally went from one extreme to the next. So I overall I've been okay. You know,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
thankful because I have other streams of income.
That's good.
And it's one of those things where we as stylists, I feel like, kind of fell in the position of not pandemic proofing your business. So that's something that I want to take the initiative to kind of get more stylists to be on that page, because it's important. So now that we've lived it and we're still living it, what's next?
Mhm. Mhm.
There has to be a next. There has to be.
Okay. Exactly.
So
I mean,
overall, I feel okay. I'm good. I'm very, very blessed. I'm thankful that I have somewhere to go, and being that I mean, just the honest truth, really, the salon business is going to be completely different forever. It's never going to be the same. So in that sense, where I'm going and how I am transitioning, and the atmosphere that I will be in, which is a private suite, will be perfect for the time that we're in.
right. Sounds good. Now tell me this. I want to make sure that I give you your just introduction as well. Your name and your business name, and how long have you been a hairstylist?
My name is Whitney Marie Dukes. I social media wise, I go by Whitney the Hair Addict. And I've been in the industry for 12 years. I graduated from Academy of Beauty, which is no longer a beauty school, but I graduated there back in 2007. and worked in salons, and then 2000, I'm gonna say at least, well, August would have been 6 years that I've had that location. I launched into, jumped out and opened up my own place,
Right,
my
right.
own salon. So
So you've been in this thing. So
I've been in this thing. I started at a lot of people know of salon known as 911 Hair Salon. That's where I started at.
yeah,
Straight
what's
from school.
it?
Yeah, my aunt owned it 17 years.
Oh wow,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. A lot of people in our city know Tony. So this
Uh,
everybody always say that's Tony's niece, that's Tony's niece. And I
right,
I created my own brand and did my own
right.
thing. Now I have my own image, which is,
I get it. I get it. I'll be forever Mr. Price daughter. That's how they do me.
exactly. So you get it.
So I get it. Well, you know what, Whitney? I want you to hold tight because we have someone that a special guest that I'm going to bring on to talk to us about a lot of different things, from resources to how to pivot. I mean, so many things. What I'll say is that. Well, first of all, her name is Vita Jeffries. She is the executive director of the Heartland Bank Chamber of Commerce. And when I tell you, this woman is literally a walk-in Rolodex of connections. Like, seriously, I can call her and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to fly to the moon." She'll be like, "Hold on, right there. I'll be right back. I'm gonna help you get to that moon."
Okay, those are the people we need.
Yes, yeah, it's always good to
Yeah,
have the people in your corner.
absolutely.
I want to recognize a few of our viewers as well. Sharon Johnson, she says hello from Denver, Colorado. She says, "My natural is
Hello.
my natural." So hello, thank you so much for sharing for watching, and make sure you share this video. Okay, let me get Vita on the screen. I'm gonna bring Fiva back on the screen as well, and then I also want to introduce Miss Vita Jeffrey, all decked out. Hi, Miss Beautiful Jeffrey. Let me get your view.
Hello.
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, we've been kind of just talking with two hairstylists, area hairstylists, and I know you and I spoke earlier. We talked about how how we're doing as business women, and I wanted to actually talk to you and find out, just give them a little bit about yourself first of all, and then we'll get into that.
Okay, absolutely. So my name is Vita Jeffrey. I have the distinct pleasure of serving and honor of serving as the executive director for the Heartland St. Louis Black Chamber of Commerce. And that really means a lot to me, especially now. I also sit on the board for the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce, which is headquartered in D.C. So that means I sit on the board to oversee Black chambers throughout the country and in several other countries.
Mm-hmm.
That matters to me because coming through COVID-19, now is when we really have to wrap our arms around our Black businesses, these beautiful women you have on here and others like them, to make sure that COVID-19 does not end the economic power that we have. But and the last thing I want to say about the role that I'm in, St. Louis's Black Chamber was created as a result of Ferguson. So Ferguson happened. A lot of things went down to try to help the businesses that lost their business or that were going through because of the unrest. At the time, it was discovered that St. Louis didn't have a Black chamber. And so when I look back over the 5 years that we've come through since Ferguson, I am honored to say this chamber exists because we had to figure out how to do some things right and how to protect our community and our people. So, Miss Tendai, thank you for having me tonight. I'm excited to be able to talk to you guys about whatever it is that we're going to uncover tonight, but most importantly, just how to make sure we save the businesses in the Black community, because Black communities need our businesses to be successful.
This is true. This is true. Vita, I'm gonna bring Fiva and you had a chance to hear their stories, Fiva and Whitney back on, but you had a chance to hear their stories as we were talking. And do you have any pearls or anything that stuck out to you at this time that you want to say to either one of them?
Yeah, first of all, ladies, man, I'm excited to be here with you, beautiful women. I want to say my natural is my natural too, Miss Tendai.
Oh
All right, now my natural needs to be hidden just for a little bit, not forever, a little bit,
yeah. It's
just for a little bit.
it's good.
Um, but so I am very honored to be here and to hear you all's story. My heart goes out to you because I understand this path that you're walking down is not easy, and you guys are brave. And I love watching Black Girl Magic so close at hand and seeing you all. And I hope that between your connection to Tendai, your connection to one another, my hope is that you are surrounding yourselves with people that empower you and give you all the courage and support you need to keep pushing forward. You all are here in my hometown, and we need you to be successful. So don't ever think that you're so small that your business isn't seen and that the city can go on anyway, because that's not the case. We need you to be successful. So we need you to hold on to that fight, get the help that's out here for you to get, and find out what it's going to take to make you to help you regroup so that whatever it is, as you rediscover yourselves and you pivot in this time, that you take everything that you've learned these 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you pour it with everything that you have into your next. So thank you guys for being vulnerable enough to come share your story so that others can learn from where you are, be inspired by where you are, and then be able to continue what they're doing by understanding that they too have a story similar to yours. So I heard several things. First of all, business owners have a knack for pouring everything they can into their business. You know, when people leave corporate America and they say, I got me, I'm gonna do this on my own, the challenge is the business becomes boss and we become second fiddle. So I'm excited to hear that there are some multiple income streams in here. So congratulations for that piece. And hopefully and nothing, you guys have cash and carry businesses and nothing replaces that quickly, you know. So the piece of, man, I went from, because I was one, I had some short hair under here that has become longer, um and I went from getting my hair done every 2 weeks to now I'm like, Jesus, what is this on my head? And the crazy thing is, I had just cut it off. My hair had been long forever, and I got bold. And I'm like, cut my hair off. And now I'm like, I could have made it through if my hair was still long. I don't know what to do now. So we need you all, but we also all need to be healthy. And so while the city and the county and all other cities across the country are opening up, we have to be wise in how we're rushing back out here, because as if our lives depended on it.
Yeah.
And the hard thing is, you guys are dealing with the financial piece of, yeah, I need to stay healthy, I need to stay safe, but I've got to make certain that financially I can keep going forward. So I can tell, what I didn't catch is whether or not your place of businesses was in St. Louis City proper, or was it in the county?
Mine actually was in downtown Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I actually relocated in the midst of, I'm still in, well, I'm not in there. I moved everything out, and I guess I have to be out completely by the 31st of May, but I have a new location that's in Jennings.
Okay. That's still St. Louis County. And then what about yours?
County.
Where'd you move? The county?
Mm-hmm.
So St. Louis County right now, I don't know if you guys got online and applied for that resource, but there's some funding that they're desperately trying to get into you all's head in the next couple of weeks. Have you all been able to go online and apply for the economic recovery funding for businesses with St. Louis County?
Yes.
Yes,
You
I
did?
have not applied for it yet, but I did receive it. Somebody just sent that to me late last night.
Okay, they extended the deadline on that. Please apply for that. Please apply for that, because we want to make certain that we need you to stay in business. There's no other way to say that. We need you guys to be able to pay yourselves. And if you had employees that you were paying, we want to be able to help and support that. That's not the end all to be all, but that is funding to help tide you over while other things are put in place. The other thing that we're looking at is what your supporting cast looks like. In order for you guys to understand how to best pivot, you have to have a team of professionals that are helping you think through this and take a broader scope look at this. And so I'm interested in knowing if you have a tribe, a team, a board, or something of professionals that consist of attorneys, accountants, but all of the people that are needed to help you regroup. Do you have people like that working with you?
It's
I have an attorney that's helping me with the legal matter that I feel like I'm faced with the salon because of how everything happened, how I was basically strong armed. And so that part is what I have. Other than that, I just have friends and loved ones that care enough to when they see something, they shoot me an email or they give me a call or inbox me something to that effect. But not like professionals that know of resources outside of people that's just on Facebook and other
right.
social media portals that's seeing things and like, hey, they're tagging me into things because they know what I'm faced with. And even if I wasn't verbalizing it as a hairstylist, as a salon owner, they're just like, listen, I see this out here for you. Take advantage.
Open the door. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Um, so when I talk about, Tendai introduced me and told you guys that I run the Heartland St. Louis Black Chamber of Commerce. And so when we're done, I want you guys to check out our website and look at the supports that we have in place. But one of the main things that's near and dear to my heart is being able to help businesses with technical assistance. And that means having that supporting cast, having an accountant or a tax professional, an attorney, a banker or a financial professional, somebody to look at your insurances. I'm trying to think of all the things that come in handy right now. You would need an IT professional to help you in your website pivot. This is what I've been doing, but now I've got to shift over and start offering these services. A marketing professional, all of that. And so I want you guys to look at our website because what we're looking at creating is an ecosystem in the Black community where our Black professionals get to serve in those spaces. We look for funding to help undergird because right now everybody can say, yeah, I need all of that, but I don't have the money for it. And so we look for funding to be able to support that team of professionals sitting down, helping you figure out what that next is. We're even looking at trends of what kinds of products and services are going to be needed in the next. We start with 2, 5, 10 years. So that if you have an ability, one of the things I love about Miss Tendai, is she's able to shift on the fly. She's like, okay, this is what I do, but I'm also able to do this too now. And that's just her mind. I told her everybody's mind doesn't work like that. And so understanding that God's grace with her is that she has a mind that can shift on the fly. So for the people who don't have that naturally, we're putting together teams of people that can sit down and help you think through, this is my strength, since I'm not serving in this space, but these are the other things that I can do to still make certain that I earn income. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I know I need to take a pause because Miss Tendai is like, okay, V, I got to get in here somewhere. So
No,
yeah,
we're fine. I'm literally listening, and I did just mention to the audience, if you guys have questions personally about your own personal businesses or friends that you have who have businesses that are trying to work through this COVID-19 pandemic as well, feel free to type your questions in. We will be more than happy to address those as we can. Ms. Vita, Viva, Whitney, myself, we all have experiences of some type that we can share. So please, I know this is getting real juicy. I see y'all here watching. They are here watching y'all. So, so shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Be sure you share this video. Vita, I know one thing that a lot of hairstylists struggle with, and being completely transparent and vulnerable. I've been a hairstylist for many, many years, but it wasn't until more recently that I actually got my structure. When I say the base, the foundation in order, i.e., paying my taxes, i.e., I'm just gonna put it up, be 100. Paying taxes, also forming the proper business structure. I didn't know that. Everybody always said, "Oh, become an LLC, get you a sole proprietorship," and that was about the extent of it. But honestly, I didn't really know what that meant. Also, there were just so many things, other opportunities out there that we talked about, but it just seemed like it took a lifetime for that stuff. All right, and Fever and Whitney, you else can tell me if you can relate. But being a hairstylist, we are used to things moving fast, real
Absolutely.
fast. We do your hair, you pay
Yeah.
me. We can kind of gauge. I can make this amount of money in this amount of time. All I gotta do is this, and boom, boom. We'll pull something together real quick.
Yep.
But long term, okay, meaning being organized enough to save all these receipts. Okay, I'm saving these receipts, but what are they for? Why am I saving? I got all these bags of receipts. They say go file your taxes. Then you get scared because people say, well, if you go file your taxes, you're gonna end up on demand because you you make more money and you haven't spent out enough money. I mean, it was just
Money.
a
Yeah.
big old ball of misunderstanding that I'm sure a lot of hairstylists and barbers have experienced, And I will honestly say it wasn't until I started moving into the product side that I started to understand my why and why I had to pay these taxes and why I had to do this. But just, but beside all that, because for somebody who thinks quick like that, that seems like an eternity. Like that's gonna take forever. I might as well just go back over here and do what I've been doing and operating how I've been operating. And then you find yourself in a situation where you're stuck, So that's what I want to talk about. Like what advice, like how do we get our hairstylists, that business word, more prominent in our mind?
Yeah, so it's not just hairstylists and barbers and hairstylists. You guys are a cash and carry industry, and those that work with corporate America or jobs where their benefits are set for them and retirements in place and taxes are taken out, all that. That's an easy ride. But what happens is when you're talented, you're able to say, okay, I'm gonna step away and I'm going to let my talent work. But because I'm good, let's say if I were good at baking apple pies, and I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna bake me some apple pies. But what happens behind that is I know the right temperature to put the butter in. I know what to do with the eggs and how to divide them. I know how to make my apple pie sing. Patti LaBelle won't have nothing on me.
Right.
But I don't know anything about building a website. I don't know what Wix is. I don't know GoDaddy. I can barely even tell you, what HTTP means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about filing taxes or how to set up. Am I an LLC or a sole proprietor, as you mentioned? Those kinds of things I don't know. So instead of worrying about all of that, I'm just going to run as fast as I can, sell as many pies as I can, and keep moving. I'm going to make this money while it's here to be made. The challenge is, as all of us know, that catches up with us. And so what we're trying to do, just like that group that I mentioned earlier, we're trying to put this group, we got to go through, peel back, look under rocks and find businesses and say, all of these resources are out here. We want to put these resources with you because if you're good at what you're good at, we want you to do that, but we want you to do it long term. And that's a hard thing for people to buy into because in our community, help like that hasn't been offered. And so my daddy used to say, help is at the end of your arm. And so we function like that. And so looking at that, Miss Tendai, you're right. We've got to not look at what the man is doing. Our focus as a chamber has been to give businesses access. We want them to have access to capital, and we want them to have access to opportunity. And so, in order to do that, we fight with banks and say, hey, you got to start lending people more money to buy buildings themselves. That way, they're not leasing forever somebody else's building. You got to give people money so that they can have equipment loans, so that they can buy the chairs and the irons and the dryers and all the things that they need for their business to work. But the challenge is if we're on here shaking the banker's neck saying, help them, help them, help them. Then when it comes time to sit at the table, we got to make sure that our businesses have their paperwork in order. Case in point with the payroll protection program, that money was leaving as quickly as they were turning the spigot on because larger businesses that had their ducks in a row, their banks already had them stacked up in line. So that meant by the time it was turned on and they say this money is available, they shot all those apps through. Our businesses, when they turned the spigot on, we started looking for our taxes. Where my 18 taxes? I haven't found 19. Where my 17 taxes? And we started looking for those things. And what my hope is to be able to help us build a system that says we can get to those things on a dime so that those opportunities are available to us. The first thing that we look at is A, knowing where all our paperwork is, but B, even if we know where our paperwork is, and we have because we got to make sure we have a bank account. So we know where our paperwork is, we got a bank account, but sometimes we do banking by never seeing anybody at the bank. You know, they got it to where we can take pictures of and make deposits now, we can transfer accounts. It's imperative that we have a relationship with a banker. We need somebody that we go see that knows us by name, knows what our habits are. That way, when the business is doing good, they see us doing good. But when we run into things like COVID-19, they can come say, that's Vita. Vita, for the last 2 years, has run her business above board. You know, she's not bouncing checks left and right. And they can vouch for that relationship. That goes a long way of moving your application from a pile of, we'll get to this when we get through all these others. Because what happens is you might have sent in your application and forgot one particular thing. And it's not that they were going to turn you down. They just haven't had time to get back to you to get that one thing. What helps alleviate that is the relationship. You know, so we got to make certain that we can get those personal relationships with the banker, with a CDFI, somebody that's actually lending money to us in our communities. Tendai, you hit the nail on the head in saying that for so long businesses operate in shame like that. And the way the expression I use is we kind of go with our hat in our hand, like, you know, we beg and can you please, you know, look at me. And bad. I'm like, yeah, you all we too bad for that. We gotta walk in with our backs held upright saying, this is what I've done, this is what I can produce, and this is what I need. They're not doing us a favor. Banks need you to exist. And I think sometimes banks carry themselves like they're doing you a favor, and we carry ourselves like they're doing us a favor. And that's not the case. We've got to walk upright and proud and know that they need us as much as we need them.
Right.
You know?
I totally agree with you. I can't tell you. I've had this conversation with my husband, okay, because he happens to work in banking. So that's been a huge help, just talking to him about my fears and opening up like, hey, I'm afraid to you know, go in there and fill out a loan papers. I don't want to be told no. No, I don't want to be told no. Who wants to hear that? Like, no, that's just, it's embarrassing. Like, okay, well, are you turning in? Well, I'm going to be bold, but I already know they're going to say no. You know, and then they come back with a yes. You're like, huh? Really? but it shouldn't be that way. And it's not as intimidating when you have knowledge and you're empowered with it, you know. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Having that banking relationship with somebody where you're able to go in and I would say, sitting down with somebody, not when you think you got your stuff together, but when you don't have it together, so that you're able to show them, listen, this is where I am. Okay, if you want to call it raggedy, then call it raggedy. Whatever it is, Mr.
Right.
Person, I'm raggedy. Here's my stuff, and what you may find is you're not as raggedy as you think you are. You know, you're like, okay, well maybe I'm not so bad off. All I need is this form, or all I need is that form, or whatever. And some of it doesn't make any sense. But I'll tell you this: after you walk through a certain area, you're no longer foreign to it. It's not new anymore. At that point, it's like, okay, I've seen that, the 4506T. Okay, I've seen whatever these documents, they're just throwing out stuff. But, you know, I've seen these papers, and all I have to do is just go get this now. And you know, it's accessible to us. It's not like, you know, it's not accessible, but we have to just find out what we need and get it, you know.
But Miss Tendai, you're not raggedy. What you are is you're experiencing on the job learning. There are some people in some communities that have had the opportunity to learn generationally. So they're able to pass businesses down. They have been an experience where the family sits around the kitchen table and they discuss money, and they discuss good opportunities in money. And that has not always been our experience. And so I wouldn't call it raggedy. I
Right.
would say you've experienced on the job learning, and
Yeah.
that on the job learning means that you fast. You've had to shift. But this is so because of it, this is what I look like, and this is what I understand that I can do. If your character is intact, if you have watched your cash flow, we've got to be careful not wanting to report our actual learning, our actual earnings, because that same, even if we can find that tax professional that can kind of hook our numbers up just right so that it doesn't make it look like we really made too much money, that's going to come back and bite us when it comes time for us to need to loan money to buy that building that we've been leasing a space in.
Right.
Because now we needed to show that I really can make some money, but I kind of been playing off of it and I don't have what I need right now. Collateral. We've got to be able to have some things of value to show, you know, so paying off cars, keeping them, you know, cars that have some value, having some, whether it's jewelry, property, you know, I always talk to people about economic development and finding out what LRA land is. If you see houses going up, but our families who can pool their money together on June 1st, the chamber is hosting an event, a podcast, a webinar, because we're going to be talking about pooling money together. How do we come together and pool our money so we can make purchases as a family or as a community, like other people do? Equity, capital. A lot of people pull out the minute they get equity in their homes, they pull it out. And then if an emergency like now comes up, they've used it and they may not have always made the wisest decisions they want to. So whenever you can build equity, make certain that you do in cars, in homes, and things that you have. And then just us being consistent. Those 5 things are the things that we can do to make certain that we get to walk proudly before anybody and say, I need help, and allow them to understand what that help to hear from you, what that looks like. What we're working with all of our banks on is not saying no, but if the answer is not yet, that's fine. Tell me what I need to do and how quickly I need to do it.
Right.
I do want to get back though to a couple of things because I heard both sisters say, and I don't know all of the why they had to shut down the spaces where the business was. But I'd like to hear, I need us to have time. I know you're going to be getting ready to go soon.
No, we have time. We're good.
Okay. If someone were listening to this evening and they had the right money and they had the right access, Yeah, make sure I'm saying my words right. To be able to give the help that you need, or even the help that when the women who went up to the beauty school and some of the stories that you heard there, the help that you know some of your other fellow stylists and barbers are in need of. I'd like to hear some of those needs are from you all.
Can you reword that?
So if
Yeah,
somebody
I'm
had
not
money,
understanding.
if they had money or anything that you could ask for, if we had that little genie in the lamp and you said, this is the help I need, whether it's personal, whether it's your business, whether it's help that you're hearing others around you talk about, what does that sound like? What help are you needing? What help are people needing?
As a salon owner, I really am looking to branch off into the commission side of things because it takes the norm in the African American community, which is booth rental. Um, and and then if we're not booth renting, we're rushing into purchasing a brick and mortar, a space so that we can hire people in. And really all that is making us glorified landlords. So we're not really anybody's boss per se. We're literally just collecting money and offering them a space to do their services at. And I really am looking to go into the commission side of things because I now through the pandemic know that it sets you up and it also sets your staff up. Like when this commission, I'm not with when the pandemic hit, if I was commissioned, they would have been able to tap into some insurance on the backside. I would have been able to qualify more than likely because I am paying taxes. I would have been able to qualify for one of those PPP loans to be able to make sure that they're actually receiving some sort of money during this pandemic. The our community, we work overtime as hairstylists. You know, we have to market ourselves, promote ourselves, advertise and market. And then we have to get in the swing of things. We have to purchase all our products and cakes. And if we want to be a step above, if we want to offer services that other people don't offer, then we have to overextend ourselves. And then after doing all of that, now service the general public all the time, all the while making sure that we have the necessary skills to actually please the public that we're servicing. So my hopes with the commission based salon in the African American community will give them the necessary training that they need to go forward and allow them to have physical training, not just YouTube university. And have that physical training and being able to have some insurance for them, being able to make sure that they actually will be able to service the public without wearing their bodies thin by going through all those different channels. You know, man, it's a lot, but that's me personally. That's what I'm looking to do. I really want to shift into a different mode, and people don't see the benefit of commission. Automatically all they think is, oh well, you're gonna take a portion of my money. Okay, well that may be so, but think about this. Now you have insurance. Now you don't have to advertise and promote and market yourself. Now you don't have to go out here and purchase all these different products. Now if your flat irons break, you have them on stock. You don't have to run to the beauty supply and grab some cheap flat irons. Now you have access to things that you don't generally have access to when you're working in a salon as a booth renter. You know, so that's my hopes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's absolutely a long-term vision. That's awesome that you kind of put those thoughts together. Okay.
Whitney, did you have something you wanted I think she was directing the next part to you. So
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say pretty much that kind of is in comparison to what I would say giving our industry a little more security and outside of having to depend on standing behind the chair. And that just kind of goes to what I was speaking on earlier, having those different streams of income. And I know that that's something that some people get in this industry and they they limit themselves to only being able to, you know, do hair or barbering or whatever it is. It took me a while to step outside because my belief was just, you know, this is what I went to school for. I paid for this. This is what I'm doing. Until I open my mind and I kind of, you know, test myself and I say, hey, I can do a little bit more outside of just the salon and, you know, standing behind a chair. So that's one thing that I would say is just like not being fearful, like, you know, of stepping outside of this industry. Because we're limited, we're not limited to anything. And just being able to have the resources to, you know, obtain different things outside of the hair industry. So that, and I would also say marketing. I think that a lot
Okay.
of us struggle with the marketing end of the industry. You see bigger companies and how they operate and how they market. And my goal has been to try to get a little deeper inside. Even Tendai, she does excellent with her marketing for her products. And I know that there's a little difference in between marketing services and actual products. Well, there is, but there isn't. It's just, I guess, the matter of, you know, really learning how to do separate the two. Because when you're marketing service and not being afraid of the competition, there's a billion of us stylists that are, you know, we're showing off the same skill, you know. So
Right.
that would be what I would cry out for help for. It's for
So, Levi,
marketing.
I'm just gonna jump in here because looking from that angle, I would think that what would be very beneficial for us is it's almost like continued education in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it sounds like in our industry, we need to partner, somehow be able to partner with other, basically creating these mentors that run major corporations to help us to be able to see from where we sit how our businesses are major as well. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm understanding from working with the product development side and marketing and management, all that, the
Mhm.
product is what it is. It's a product, a tangible
Right.
item. So your hair styles, your skills, just like an artist, like you said, it's so hard to be an artist and to manage yourself because
Yeah.
the person outside of you or your mentor is going to see so much more in you that you see. We understand.
Yourself. Uh-huh.
Like you said, Whitney, a lot of people are marketing the same skills. How can I put this lace front on? I mean,
Absolutely.
I have seen the lace front put on by so many. I know you gotta have got to be glued. I know you gotta have the dots around the edges. I don't even do lace fronts, but I know how to do it just from watching so many people
Absolutely. Yeah.
online. So you're right. How do we now? Because if you think about it, a hamburger is a hamburger, right? But you got
Period.
McDonald's, you got Burger King, you got White Castles, you got Wendy's, you got Hardee's. All of them are selling hamburgers, but the way
Hmm.
that they're selling them and the way they package theirs up has a lot to do with that. That's what I'm saying. Can we be partnered up with somebody who runs a major corporation? Can we start that kind of program where we can actually, a big brother, big sister that can actually take some of us under their wings and show us how to take our business from Whitney the hair addict to Whitney now the franchises, to be able to say my franchise offers this, you know, Fiva Daniels with hers hair relics. How can hair relics now become this franchise where other people can buy into it? Like, for example, okay, um, Paul Mitchell. How do you become a brand? How do you become a brand like Nexus? Or you know, that's what I mean. We need that corporate education to help us to take what we have and now partner it with somebody who can help us with that infrastructure. That's what
Yeah.
I'm hearing.
Those resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being able
So,
to go ahead.
no, go ahead.
But being able to offer things like retail sales, it wasn't until, well, you know, we have different companies that come into the salons and offer us things
Mhm.
to sell
Retail.
to retail. But it wasn't until I met Tendai that I actually was like, okay, like this is what's up, because this is specifically for not just for our hair, because it's for hair in general. However, it was something that was geared towards natural hair and natural styles, and because I'm servicing people who who wear their hair natural, now I have something, like you said, tangible that I can retail back to you, that really pushes the mark. But when you have to just keep directing your clients and or your staff to the beauty supply or online,
Yes.
that puts you in a position, and a sticky one at that, because I need this and I need it now.
Yeah.
I need, and my clients are calling and they need it, and they need it now. They don't have 4 weeks to wait on the shipment, of something. So I'm in total agreement with you, Tendai. I'm definitely in agreement with that.
You know what? I will say this. First of all, you all are making me so happy. Because this kind of long-term vision is something that we absolutely can put some things and partnerships in place and opportunities in place to make this actually happen. But I'm also looking at, I'm one of these people that sit up on a regular basis in the middle of the night, even coming up with how do we solve this problem. And so I've been looking at the challenge that we have with our restaurant owners who couldn't, do business just like everybody else because we've had to shut down. And then I heard the complaint that Grubhub or whatever those delivery services were taking too much of the money, so it wasn't advantageous to our restaurant owners for them to be able to let to let those entities deliver for them. So then I start calling around. I'm like, well, wait a minute. We got a lot of Black-owned transportation companies, and they're not doing their typical business. Our limo riders, they're not in service right now. Proms didn't happen. They're not picking up folks at the airport, delivering them. How about we make those connections? How about we get our transportation companies connected with our restaurants? They start doing the delivery. That way, the transportation companies make money, the restaurant owner is making money, and that ecosystem in our Black community is working for us, working in our favor. Even in what you guys were just talking about, the pieces that it would take for you guys long term to be able to have multiple income streams that were reliable, so that when emergency situations come up, your business still goes on, because you're absolutely right. One of the things that we're talking about on June 1st, that we have been talking about, is a lot of people often talk about the frustration of having to go to buy their beauty supplies from people that don't look like us. So how do it, but the benefit is they buy in bulk, so they're getting all of their supplies at such a reduced rate that it's greatly advantageous to them, but for our salon owners, it's not. What if we did crowdfunding? What if we did cooperative economics so that we have those same advantages? Tendai, you asked earlier, how do we get to that space? We get through to that space by having a consistent message that says, together, we're much better off as a community. This is not saying we want to sign off and have our own streets and our own little island and we don't need anybody else. That's not saying any of that, because I try to express it best so that people who know me understand it. I am very, very pro-Black, but I'm not anti anybody. I just happen to love my Black. And that even using the word Black is offensive in some communities, and that amazes me, because we're the only community that's been challenged by accepting our own culture, so much so that we've tried to distance ourselves away from it and say, I don't want to associate with that. Well, don't say that loud. Don't let them hear you saying that. And we've got to be able to take ownership of who we are, in a way that our children can have that. First of all, we can feel prideful. We can have pride, not feel prideful in who we are. And our children can embrace who they are as they grow up in community. So the whole focus is to make certain that we are better. Our being better as a community makes the economics of those around us better. in St. Louis, we have to look at the fact that when people land at Lambert Airport, if they want to go support the Cardinals, if they want to go support the soccer team, if they want to go to our new beautiful Ferris wheel, they've got to land at our airport, get on Highway 70 or 40, doesn't matter, and they have to drive through Jennings, Normandy. They've got to drive through North St. Louis City. All of these areas that are high, where the numbers of the population is highly our community. So our community is needed for all of the community's economics to do well. So we've got to embrace that and do well for ourselves together. And that's what you guys have just talked about. So you all have done my heart so much good. I'm so excited because I want to go back and call people and say, this is what we got to put in place so that coming out of COVID-19, we can make certain that our community is crisis proof.
Yes.
So I love it. I love it. I love it.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Back to the beauty supply thing. Back in 2009, when I opened up The View, we had a beauty supply too. And I went to the main supplier in St. Louis that supplies all the beauty supplies in St. Louis, and which is new. Well, I guess I don't know if we're supposed to say their name or whatever, but they're the supplier of all the beauty supplies in St. Louis.
You can text me.
Okay, I sure will. So we walked through the door and I had out my list and everything. And the guy literally said, you can get every single thing over here. But this section right here is off limits. And so the section that was off limits were the things that we purchased. The things that we were constantly in the stores purchasing, like us. I mean us, like we African, like you. That's like you just said it. Like we were afraid to kind of say African American, Black people, like Black people. What we purchased that was off limits, and I was just like, why can't we purchase it? You know, I don't remember exactly what he meant or what he actually said, but basically he was like, if you're not one of us, then you don't have access to this department. But listen, we have 100 square foot warehouse, right? You can buy all of the things in here. But this area right here, which is all the things that you guys are going in there to buy, with the exception of like glue, gel, relaxers, and things like that. But like the hair that we buy and purchasing, the things that we really go and spend our money on in the beauty supply was off limits.
Mm-hmm. So when Ms. Tendai introduced me and asked me to introduce myself, I mentioned that I sit on the board for the U.S. Black Chambers Inc. nationally. That's the advantage of being part of a chamber. So what you do is you circumvent those that seek to be a barrier to your success, and you go around and get what you need. But that takes the collective efforts to make sure that you have access in those opportunities. So I absolutely believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
And what we have to do is light a fire in those around us so that we can go directly to the sources and you can bypass all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that, you know, in the local businesses, you have to understand that those people are just as intimidated by you finding out how they get theirs as you are of them being a roadblock to you. So the thing is what I had to learn, I had that bad too, but you know, I had that bad too, but I guess it's something inside of me that's kind of like, whatever, you know, just kind of go through it. But I look at them now, not like I can't get what they get, what they have, because if you find the right person, money talks. If you're gonna make a purchase, you got to have the right amount that you're buying, and you have to have the means as far as getting your transports and all that stuff in order, and follow the same steps they do. You can very well, yes, you can do it too. You know, so because there are Black beauty supplies that's opening up in abundance, but I think you have to understand that that poses a threat to somebody who's been doing business the way they've been doing. See, they're no smarter than you are. And we're all human beings. Everybody's human. Nobody has a smarter, more ingenious brain than anybody else, unless you like, I don't know, some kind of mastermind. But I will say that the opportunities are there. Where we fail ourselves, okay, where we fail ourselves is that we stop at no. We stop. The first no that comes home, oh well, I guess they're going back over here. And then we talk among each other and we say, girl, you know, they ain't letting us do everything. Who gave them power to let us do anything? You're a human being. I breathe the same air. We can all catch
Right.
COVID-19 with one breath. So my thing is, just like they have an opportunity to get this, you just have to do your research and dig deeper. And sometimes people are gonna say no because it's new. It's not normal to go into these behind the scenes, these places where you know they're doing these trades, and to see a face like yours, unless they're African, you know, because Africans are doing it. You're just an African American. So you go into this place, I had a guy one time say to me, he said, "Where you from?" And I said, from United States, St. Louis. No, no, where are you from? Like, what country are you from? I said, United States. He's like, but where are you from? I'm like, you know, why? Then he was just kind of got quiet because he was expecting, like, if I had an accent or I spoke with some type of an African accent, he probably would have been more inclined to talk to me about business. But the idea for us is that we are automatically erase ourselves out and say, okay, we're over here. They don't want us to play that game. Honey, money is money. Money is money. And you talk to the right people, they're going to allow you to play the game, especially if you know how to play it. You know, so that part, I would like to be in connection with people. You know, I get scared too. You know, we all get scared, but I run into people
Right.
who have done what I'm trying to do, and I try to connect myself. And I don't care what color they are. I try to connect myself with people who have done what I want to do and learn what I can learn from them. And most times, people
Absolutely.
are willing to be open and honest with you about your, you know, about what they do. People love to talk about themselves. So
Yeah.
if I find someone who owns a salon, for example, FIBA, that is a salon that is commission brand, and they don't look like you and I. Okay, so the thing is, the resources of what you're trying to do may not look like you, but if you connect with somebody who's willing to break down, because hard work is hard work, willing to break down how they do their business, why not talk to the CEO of you know, what's the name, Great Clips, or why not talk to the CEO of the person who runs beauty brands and these
Yes.
places and Ulta. I
That's what
want
I'm
to talk to
doing.
them. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, let's sit down. Show me what you did, because I'm not low like that. Like, I can learn. I want to know how you did this. What paperwork did you fill out? I got a pen. I'm ready to fill out my papers too. Now, how do you do this? That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. When we be connected with people who are doing the things that you want to do, and not necessarily depend on our small circle of friends, because you're not gonna grow like that.
Definitely.
And I gotta say this, you know why what you're talking about is so important that we want to make sure it becomes a common conversation in our community? Because having those conversations, or how you find out, there might be somebody that owns a very thriving business and
Mm-hmm.
they're ready to retire. They're just looking for the right person to sell it to.
Hmm.
But we're not used to talking about purchasing businesses. We're more used to talking about, I got to go start my own. So we don't have the capital, or even if we don't have the capital, we got to be in position to where we can borrow it, because banks will loan money to buy businesses that are thriving. So
Mm-hmm.
we've got to be in position to be able to do that. And we've got to start thinking along those lines. So talking to Great Clips, talking to everybody. How did you do it? What did you do? I need,
Yes.
where are your suppliers? Where do you get your business from?
Yeah.
All of it is
Yeah.
so on point with what we've got to make certain that we're doing for our businesses too. Don't ever feel like somebody that you can't ask somebody a question just because of the kind of business that we are. You know, we've got to be emboldened to do that.
Yes, definitely. I was gonna say that's kind of what I experienced in this transition. I decided to go with the salon suites, which it just fell in place, because if you would have asked me a month ago, I couldn't have seen myself in a suite.
Mm-hmm.
And so with this happening, that's where I am moving to a suite. And the owner is it's a family owned and operated business. It's not like a lot of the corporate suites, like Salon Sola and Salon Loft and those different type of companies. They're all corporate brand. And so this I first met him, I said, hey, this is a goal of mine. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to buy a building, and I've shared this with Tendai and Fever, within the last week, that I want to buy a building and I want suites. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me to be in position now, the owner is so open and willing to share with me, and I wasn't afraid to ask him, hey, this is a goal of mine. Will you be willing to, as I'm here through the year, work with me and kind of show me? I want to know what you did.
Right.
Show me the ropes. And he was very open to it, and he's not African American.
Right.
Yeah.
So exactly,
Yeah.
I get it.
The thing is that if we are healthy, then we're all healthy. So
Right.
while we want to make sure that we are representing, see, the thing is that as a human being, as a Black person, we have to be like to create a new normal in a sense. And
Mhm.
part of that is
Exactly.
just as easily as we can walk into Walgreens and make purchases, or we can walk into Macy's or any of these other stores and make purchases. People should be of all walks of life should be that comfortable come and buy from you as well and work with us as business owners as well. Not because I'm Black, because I'm a good business person. That's why. Well, I want it, but we just happen to have a really good we have to be melanated over here. That's just what it is. But it's good business. I want people to contact me. I feel good when I get a salon that's white owned. Hi, Tendai, that shampoo you brought me last week was amazing. Can you bring me over a case of that this week? I mean, that makes me feel good because I'm like, okay, I did something right. They didn't do business with me because I'm Black. They did business with me because I did it right. And same thing for my own fellow Black people. I want people to do business with me because I treat them right, not because
Yes.
I'm Black. I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
I've been that way, but I've also been that one who wouldn't show up for your appointment too. I've been that one, so that's
Okay.
so good. I don't want to be treated like that. So I had to go and readjust my thinking and just do good business. So that's what I'm saying. How do we do that? Who do we partner with to learn the skills we need in order to be good business people? And so Vita, I'm all for it. Like, any resources that you have as far as making those connections, that would be great. It's almost like some master classes in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we do. I need to, somebody asked about the website. So I want to put that out there because we absolutely want to make certain to give access to resource and opportunity. So right now, because of the current status that we're living in with COVID-19, joining the chamber right now is free. So the website is www.hbcstl.com. So that's H as in Harry, B as in boy, C as in cat, STL.com. The code to join is COVID-19. It is, and I gotta say this, it's a two-step process. You go in, you put the code in and become a member. Then you go back in and list your business on the register, on the directory. That way, when people are looking for I call it Miracle Whip, she calls it Whisper Whip, what's in the name, but her Whisper Whip acts as a miracle.
Yes, doesn't it?
So that way, when people are looking for Whisper Whip, they know healthy hair care solutions can be found on the Black Chamber. And they go. People ask me, can other businesses join? We don't sit up and police who joins, but we do want to make sure that people can find you. That's what we're looking for. Can people find you? Can we get resources to you quickly? Let me give you a story. I mentioned I sit on a board with USBC in DC. So I was in DC for a conference. And in the conference, we were meeting with some of the Fortune 500 companies. They had their supplier diversity people come out. And one sat down with me and she was begging. She said, Vita, we need people who make products. We need Black suppliers of products. And so she gave me this whole list of things that she needed. And the problem is, then that means for us, unless we have our chamber directories that we can put our hands on at the snap of a finger, we go back and we post on Facebook. We start calling people who that do this. it takes too long. When those opportunities come, when those contracts come, they need to fill them within a certain time. So right now, I spend a lot of time telling people, go register, go put your list yourself, so that when we're sitting in front of supplier diversity people and they're trying to honor their numbers, we can put our hands on you quickly. The other thing that I want to say is, as we're looking to pivot and shift, I mentioned Tendai early on. I love, 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 Miss Tendai, how you pivot. Keep doing you like that. Please don't let other people dim your light and all that God has blessed you with. Go out and shout from a mountaintop. I got access to this. I created this. Because sometimes in our community, fear holds us back, or people use the word haters hold us back. And we just got to go be bold in what we're doing. Black suppliers are needed. Go find out what you can get access to. Can you be a paper supplier? Toilet paper is a big deal. There's a black dude on the East Coast that supplies toilet paper. Call him up. Tell him I want to be one of your suppliers, and then you go offer it. Find out, things that were going to be needed as we're seeing this change. People vending machines. If you sold candy, go sell you some masks out those machines. Go figure out how to take something, just like Tendai whipped up. I don't know what she did to whip up that Miracle Whisper whip, but whatever she put together, right now I'm talking to my baby. Now I'm an entrepreneur at heart. My babies are like, Mom, I don't know, go do it for me. But I'm like, girl, you better find out how to make some hand sanitizer and make some. We got to get this on the market. But go figure out what we don't have access to and give us access to it. That's how we pivot on a dime and get ready. Go just start looking at what is it that when I go through the store and I see the aisle empty, what's empty? Whatever's empty is what I need to be looking at, and I need to go become an expert at. We don't have to sit at home and be depressed. We've been praying. God has told us to go do you. For those of us that have a relationship, now we have to honor him and go do that. So go use those talents. Those of you that make us beautiful, go figure out. I'd love to buy my eyeshadow from somebody who understood me a little bit better. So you all know how to put colors together. That's not my talent. None of that's my talent. Alicia's pieces hooked me up a while back when I bought this. That's not my skill set. I can find you something about money, business, politically. We can talk about writing policies and bills to help people, but I can't paint a wall. I can paint a wall, but somebody might have to help me figure out the color. So all I'm saying is all of you all with all this talent, with these brains that you can't shut off, you get a bowl, a spoon, and put some things together and go slap a label on that. Go run it through the testing units. Go have people ask us, how do I get connected with people that's got to test my product? And then go sell. Let your children see you come through this time, because it's easy for a minute to doubt yourself, like, what's wrong with me that my business failed? No. All of these people out here that made history because when something failed, they did something else. So I'm excited. I'll be watching you, not just from afar. I want to watch you up close. I want to help you get access to money. I want to help you get access to the resources that you need. And I keep saying money because at the end of the day, we still got to eat. So access to what we need, what you need right now, to make sure that your business, your children get to watch you go through this thing, because they're looking. They're looking, your aunts, your uncles, the people you had borrowed money from before, all them people that quit taking your calls when you first decided to go in business. They're looking and they talk about you, but in a way they kind of inspired by you, because they're like, man, let me see how you gonna go through this. Just like folks that hate on your relationship and they vote for your relationship not to make it so they can feel better. So people want you to fail so they can feel better. I want you to succeed so you can show them what it's like. We need you to make it. And we need you to not make it small, because if you all have done the things that you all talked about getting on this call, there's not small in you. So I'm encouraged by you women. I'm excited to be able to watch you. I will absolutely lift you up in prayer. I'm excited for the work
Thank you
Tendai
so
is
much.
doing and how she is being a connector herself to access and resource. On the chamber website, we got resources. We throw resources on there every day. We had a black owned business call us today. They hiring people, and they're like, can you post up that we're hiring? We slap it up. We want to help you get a job, find a job, build your business, whatever. But at the end of the day, we want to help you make it.
That's right.
So
Yeah, I got a question for you, Vita. We kind of discussed a little bit about resources that are available for people, or just talking about like some of the things that may be needed at this time, because we can dream and we can, project and say, oh my God, da, da, da. But literally, like where we are right now. Okay, if I'm stuck in some mud, what do I need? When I look around me to get out of this mud, and things like, if I owe, and this has nothing to do with either Fever or Whitney, but say for instance, there's a stylist out there that owes back rent to their landlord. Do you guys have resources for somebody who would have to pay back rent for somebody?
So that's something that we're working on. So here's what I will say to you. Today is May 20th. So I've got some people I've been talking to all day about that. So right this second, I don't have somebody, but I got a group that I'm talking to that's working on putting together some funds so that we can help that in the not too distant future.
Okay.
So it's not we're gonna wait till July. We're trying to get some things in place right now so that for those landlords that are and it's only because they don't have any set asides for themselves. So if they don't they don't get the rent from you, they lose the building.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, I got to put pressure on you or get somebody else in there. So what we're working on is putting those things in place to get some money in you all's hand so that you can give to the landlord, keep his space, and keep moving that way.
And then what about resources for just putting food on the table also, like just in general?
So organizations, so we absolutely try to stay in our lane and we try to highlight people in the lanes that they're in. So that's how I said on the chamber site, there are resources galore. Here in St. Louis, Mike McMillan has done a phenomenal job through the Urban League at feeding the community. And so they are absolutely going to keep doing that. Every other day, they are set up somewhere offering food. We're trying to partner with some people to see if we can get some other things offered. I know churches that are doing clothing drives where they're because we have our baby turned 10 Friday and we measured her. She's 5'2" at 10. She grows every night.
Wow.
And so clothes that we just bought her don't fit. So, for those people that have children like ours, right now, if you don't have that steady income coming in, you can't go to the store and keep buying clothes. So clothing drives are definitely necessary. And so look out for flyers of churches and places that will be sponsoring and offering that. And we'll post that on the chamber website as well. But let me say this, the best help we have right now is community helping community.
Yes.
The other piece that I'm very excited about, I feel like I got to lean in to say this. On our chamber website, what we put in, I know I need ears to listen. We put up a bartering page. And that's something we took directly from the listening sessions behind Ferguson. The bartering page says that you might need a new air conditioning unit, but you don't have the money for it. But what you do have are your hands and your skill set to do hair or to do whatever. Put up whatever it is that you have on that site because it's not an equal trade. And then you can withdraw from the site what you need. It's of equal value. So if I had some whisper whip, if I had some bling or something, I'd put it up on the site. I got $50 worth of whisper whip. I got $50 worth of hand sanitizer.
Right.
I got $50 worth of these head wraps that y'all women need right now. Whatever. And then you can take $50 worth of something else off the site. And so we're just started it. We got it up. And so now we're trying to build it because bartering is absolutely a way to make certain that our needs are met when we're not in position to do what we've always done.
That's a really good thing, especially in a time like this. That's when bartering was born, like during the Great Depression and stuff like that. You know, everybody didn't have currency to exchange, but you do have skills, and that's just as worth just as much. Like, if anybody out there can lay floors, I can definitely provide you with a bunch of whisper with. You can come lay my floors down.
I know that's right.
I did business for a long time, especially when I opened up my first and second salon off the bartering system. A lady came to me and said, she said, "What is bartering?" I said, no, I asked her what was bartering. She said, "You scratch my back, I scratch yours. You don't have the money, neither do I, but you got the skills I'm looking for, and I also have something you're looking for. Let's trade services." I still do it. And I have a nail tech. I love her. Sometimes I just don't, have it. And she's like, "Well, listen, Fever, hook me up and I'm gonna hook you up." And so that's something
That's
I
right.
always love to do.
So
Even if you it works.
we're working with our professionals like our attorneys. I heard somebody say that they ran into a lease issue. So if our attorneys can put so many hours in there to be able to help with those lease issues. And then in turn, if that means you do their hair, their makeup, or whatever it is, but just to make sure that you're covered right now, that you're not left out here on your own.
I had a couple questions that came through on here. One of them I think is a good question because you would think it's it says, do you have to pay? Wait, do you have to pay to be involved with the Black Chamber of Commerce for business? Do you have to pay to be involved with
So
the Black?
typically, yes, but right now, no. You get a free year's membership right now.
Okay, so, and using that code COVID-19.
That code,
Okay, so Sharon Johnson says, "I'm not a business owner yet, but I will support Black business. Partnering sounds like a great plan."
That's awesome.
Someone else said, be careful of roadblocks. Family and friends, anybody who is not supporting you, cut them off."
Yeah, so here's what I would say. Don't cut them off. We've got to love. We got to love people through, because sometimes people respond to our bravery with their fear. Everybody doesn't have the same confidence and fearlessness that you have. That's why you're the one that's been chosen to do this. Everybody can do what you're doing. You've been called to do this. I gotta say that. And so we can't cut our family off because they don't have the same mindset. We gotta love them through the process.
Yes. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I mean, I can't, I'm just putting out there what somebody said, but I don't agree with that at all. I feel like you don't cut them off, but you show them a way. Like you said, people are afraid sometimes, and their first instinct is to protect you by saying, don't do that. But then when you do a show, it can be done. They're like, "That's my baby. That's my."
Yes, they're first grade.
So I mean, I won't say cut them off, but definitely, love them through.
It's different ways to support.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think if everybody learns that, it's not always about giving something away for nothing. It's now in today's world, there's so many different ways to support. Sometimes you may not have it, but please share my post. Let other people know what I have going on. Send a customer my way. You may not can't come sit in my chair, this weekend, but referrals are everything.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to speak directly to business owners' families, because here's what I find. Business owners' family hold every misstep you've ever done against you. I wouldn't do business with her because I remember when she was in 5th grade, she so and so and so and such and such, and she ain't good for business anyway. You got that memory like an elephant when it comes to something that you've done. But the challenge that's always amazed me is you'll do business with somebody that you don't know their dirt. You don't know what kind of ethics they have. You don't know you in COVID-19. You don't know if they cleaning their hands and or any of that. But the people who are closest to you, you'll watch suffer. So I make an appeal all the time to stop asking for stuff for free. Give people, as the Bible said, how many chances were we supposed to give? You get, 7 times 7, all of that, 7 times 70, and then some. My husband gonna come get me. But making sure we're able to look like that, and don't keep holding stuff against people, because our community has to build itself up. We don't need anybody else picking us up. We have what we need. What we need is access and opportunity. So if
Right.
you give us access, if you give us opportunity, if you give us the contracts that everybody's getting, then we can feed our own. But we got to make sure that we got that love and support behind us.
Absolutely.
And then,
I'm very blessed to come from a family that really, so we support each other. I could be over here making the worst products ever, but they're gonna be like, that's my sister. My sister, she gonna do it. My look, this is actually my sister. She said, yeah, but some people have baggage and they will pull you down. That's the truth. Some
some
people,
Yes.
people have never some
baby.
people have never seen you or seen people in their own particular family reach a certain height of success. And so when you
Yes.
start talking of a certain level, they like, no, you can't do that because they've never seen it. So what I do is I'm an encouraging force. I always reach back and say, listen, you may have never seen this done, but I'm gonna do it. And when you see me do it, that should encourage you to know that
You
you
can do it
also
too.
do it.
Yes.
Because you in
Yes.
my level of greatness, and my level of greatness intimidates you. Well, maybe you see that in yourself, and maybe you're great as well, but it's intimidating towards you because you've never seen anybody like us in our family do what we have in us to do. Instead of
Yes.
telling me what I can't do, just sit back and shut up and let me do it.
Yes.
Like when you
And
said, share my post when you see me,
exactly.
and let that be an encouraging thing towards you.
It hits a little
There you
different when
go.
it's family, and I just kind of say for everybody, like it just hits differently because it's something about that with me with when it comes to supporting people. Like that's why I stated like it's different ways to support,
Yeah.
So
Elizabeth don't listen to another businesswoman. She says, hey ladies, hey Dawn.
hey, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
I've
Yeah.
learned too, like with just with mentoring and with mentorship, that when you do get in a circle of the right people, and you're around people that are at the point where you're trying to get to, your conversation changes. The people that you're around, they see that
Yeah.
you talking different now. So certain people they will fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me. And it
Yeah.
ain't even you cutting them off. They'll fall off because you ain't gonna want that the energy changes, the conversation changes. So you're not gonna at a certain point, you ain't gonna even notice they not around.
Right.
Service in my family. I stopped servicing my family, and it came to a point where my family would always say, well, they wouldn't come to me, they'll go to somebody else, but I was a fix it, and they would come back to me and say, oh, can you fix this or can you fix that?
Mhm.
And I got tired of fixing other people's mistake when you could have came to me in the first place. So I got to the point to where I said, you know what, I'd rather keep loving you and keep you around than to have our ties broken because we having a miscommunication, or because you don't want to pay me what I know I'm worth, and I'm probably not charging you
Absolutely.
what I charge everybody else. So just so that we can stay on the same page and I can still remain your love and you can still remain mine, let you just go search for the 50 million beauticians in St. Louis, and nobody else
Hmm.
can help you. Just keep me as
Yep.
Spencer, let them service you.
With your
Yes,
bald head
definitely.
stuff. I didn't say that, but
Yes.
that's what you want to say behind it with your bald head stuff.
Mhm.
That's my humor for tonight. But it is like that. It is like that. We got a couple people commenting, and then we're gonna move on. Get ready to close the show out because this has been a fantastic conversation. First of all, Sharon Johnson says, "Find like-minded support. I have to go outside my circle to learn from others. Sometimes you evolve, and it's time to move on," which is true. So true. Says we definitely need to be surrounded around those that uplift and support, especially now. Yes. So that is so true. Vita, first of all, thank you so much for being with us on here tonight.
Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful. I've enjoyed you all so much, and I'm looking forward to just seeing you all continue to thrive, rise and thrive.
Yes, yes. And remember, guys, to go and join the Black Chamber of Commerce. It's www.hbcstl.com, and use the code COVID-19. The code COVID-19. Also, Whitney Dukes Fiva Daniels.
Yes.
You guys are phenomenal women, and I know I'm not even worried about the recovery like that. You know what I'm saying? But any resources and anything I can offer, I'm definitely
I'm excited.
ready to offer that to you all. And just so you guys know, I am running a sale on my website. Both Whitney Dukes and Fiva Daniels have coupon codes, just a 40% off store-wide sale. So what I'm doing is pouring love into my reps, and they're actually able to, they make money from your purchases. So use Fiva's coupon code and use Whitney's coupon code, and you guys can help them in earning income while they sleep. How about that?
Yes.
I'm on it.
Yes.
Right. You guys can check the coupon codes too if you want to. It'll be on their flyers.
Great.
Yes. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Anything you guys want to say before we close out?
Thank you for giving us the time to come on here.
Yes, thank you so much, Fiva.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So much. Viva, right? Am I saying it right?
Vita.
Oh, Vita, me, Vita.
Vita, yes. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. I want to remind people to go to St. Louis County's website, though. They do still have monies in their emergency packet. And so go to the website and fill it out if people can tonight. It's a very short form. But we want to make sure that folks that are in need of, I think it's $1,000 to $15,000. And it's not, there are some apps that are difficult. This one is not difficult. So please go fill that out. And Tendai, you my heart.
Let me see.
So it's St. Louis County's website. I wish I could just Tendai. I should have sent you that and you could have put that up. It's on, so I tell you what, it's on the Black Chamber's website though.
There you go.
That's where I know it is.
Out on a computer because
so you can't miss it. Say that again.
Fill it out on a computer.
Yeah, you can do it on your phone, on the computer. It doesn't take long at all.
Yeah, when you do it from your phone and you try to sign, it won't allow you to sign. So if you do it from like an actual tablet or a computer, it's like 3 minutes.
Okay, I had a couple of people, St. Louis County Small Business Relief Fund. So I have
that's it.
I have it already.
Good deal.
We'll fill them out, y'all.
Thank you.
Let's get this money. And you know what? You guys are giving me so many ideas for the next show, show. So I'm excited for the next texture talks that are coming up. Real quick, we have Ramon Yuruhuru. We have Little Richard, picture of Little Richard is giving me all kinds of life right there. Says, I have had a lot of success focusing on raw materials. I traveled to Thailand and found out where a lot of the raw materials for Black hair come from. I also met Africans who purchased their raw materials directly from Thailand. They are fair trade. Yep, this is true. And this is a young lady I know. When I tell you fearless, she's like, yeah, I'm moving to Tokyo tomorrow. I'll be like, yeah, I'm moving to Hawaii. Really random, but she will do that. So that's what I mean, being open to different discussions with people. They may not necessarily look like us, but I'm gonna be committed to getting some of those people in our circle so we can start listening and learning from people, and also teaching, because we have things to teach also.
Absolutely. But there's somebody you stay connected with because they can ship products back for you. You don't have to travel yourself right now.
Absolutely.
You just got to stay connected.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's true. So, guys, thanks again for being on the show. You guys are wonderful, and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey everybody, this has been Texture Talk Live with the Hair Whisperer Tendai. I really appreciate you all tuning in to this special edition. I want to say special shout out to Vita Thurman, Vita Jeffrey from the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce, Fiva Daniels, owner of the all new Hair Relic, and also Whitney Dukes, the owner of the all new Whitney the Hair Addict. So we're looking for great things from all of those ladies, and we want to stay connected. Be sure to tune in here, Texture Talk Live, next Wednesday, each and every Wednesday. We will discuss more exciting information, whether it's about hair, whether it's about business, or how to pivot, all kinds of things. We're just happy you guys joined us tonight. Be sure to share this video. Tell a friend, bring somebody back. And if you have show ideas and you want to come on the show, send me an email. send me an email or inbox me on Facebook. Thanks again for watching, and you guys have a wonderful night. Take care.